Not the death of Christ on the cross, the grace of God, a bath in the Ganges, but the spiritual path will redeem us from evil. There is so much talk about making the world a better place. However, there is only one way to remove the scourges of humanity, such as fear, strife, restlessness, lovelessness, greed, violence, and selfishness. Every single human being has to drive them out of himself. Each and every one of us must become fearless, peaceful, calm, loving, and selfless. The very essence of the practice of Agni Yoga, perhaps the most important among the thousands of instructions of the Mahatmas, is one simple exercise. Identify your 3 worst qualities and get rid of them. Purify your thoughts, and after determining your 3 worst traits, sacrifice them to be burned away in fiery striving. You have to reach down to the fundamentals of human character. Select from these fundamentals those you would cultivate and those you would suppress, and then consciously set about doing so, before you can rise above your present mental and physical environment. This simple rule is actually a gigantic training program that can be continued infinitely in all worlds and in all incarnations. The Mahatmas themselves, as well as the many creatures standing even higher, continue, like we do, to work on this task. Penetrate deep into your innermost. Determine your worst faults. Choose one of them and try with all your might to get rid of it by replacing it with its opposite. After getting rid of one vice, start to work upon another, and so on. It is not at all easy, but then nothing easy is fitting upon the royal path which leads to the fiery world. This exercise is universal. You can practice it anytime, anywhere, even in the worst of circumstances. Let no one say it is too difficult. Others have already discarded the properties from which you still suffer, so you can achieve that too. Let us recall the qualities absolutely inadmissible in the community: ignorance, fear, falsehood, hypocrisy, cupidity, usurpation, drunkenness, smoking, and obscenity. Some may say, do you wish to collect angels? The requirements are too high. We shall reply, all these requirements are frightening only for the Philistine, who hides his wealth under his threshold. In the Himalayas, we have long ago found people to whom the above stipulations are no bugbear. Again, we are speaking of the struggle between your lower transient and your higher eternal self. Much of you is still animalistic and has to be overcome if you want to reach the level of the man of spirit, on which you express your divine part to a higher degree. Strive by self-examination to look yourself honestly and fairly in the face, to recognize the qualities which belong to your lower selves and gain control of them. Of course, it is a long task, but you have eternity to accomplish it in, so do not let that deter you from making a beginning, lest even eternity be too short. Let me reveal the secret of success. Why do I keep failing, for example, with the proverbial New Year's resolutions? There are two reasons for this. First, you don't have a plan. Second, you are aiming too high. First, you have to set up a program of exercises. And second, you should undertake to something only that you can easily implement. First, proceed in a targeted and systematic way, as on a mountain tour. Make a concrete plan of ascent, according to which you will practice and work. Write down the characteristics you want to get rid of first. Let each one designate for himself a path of progression, leading toward one of the higher worlds. Check your progress every day. Decide to take a specific step in the morning and give an account to yourself in the evening on how far you have succeeded. And do better next day if you are unsuccessful. Thereby you use every day for ascent. You will not wish to find yourself at the end of a day, or worse, at the end of your life, on the same level as at the beginning. It is regrettable if the spirit who has lived through his cycle of life arrives at the same point from which he started. On the contrary, the work of art that you chisel out of the raw material of your own soul should look a little greater, stronger, and more beautiful in the evening than in the morning. Second, you can make the difficult path to the heights easier, again, as on a mountain tour, by dividing it into small steps, each of which is easy for you to master. You may make a firm commitment in the morning. You may promise yourself, today I shall drink only 2 glasses of wine instead of 3, or eat only half the amount of sweets, or smoke 5 cigarettes less. This is possible. If you stick to that, you will stand 1 step higher in the evening. Next day, or perhaps a little later when what you have achieved is consolidated, you take the next step, which again will be small, but together with the steps of the days to come, will lead you safely to success. You are in no hurry. You have an eternity at your disposal. The secret of success is many small but safe steps. 1 small step a day, 365 small steps a year, and so forth over countless incarnations. In this way, you will climb inexorably the highest heights. We prefer to formulate our goal positively if the teaching advises to get rid of bad qualities. That means, practically, acquire the corresponding good ones. Replace impatience with patience, irritability with serenity, fear with fearlessness, doubt with steadfastness, and so on. Can you substantiate this a little bit more? After all, everyone wants to become a better man somehow. Yes, we must never lose sight of the great goal of our efforts, the next step of evolution, the new immortal man. The properties we have to acquire are therefore, above all, those that mark a being of spirit: invulnerability, fearlessness, freedom, and joy. Also, think of the ascent on the ladder of hierarchy. You remember, the three basic characteristics of a hierarch are purity, wisdom, and joy. You should start developing them. In the series on education, we will talk in more detail about the many other attributes that are necessary or useful to acquire, such as imagination, discernment, and sensitivity. In general, we may say, ask yourself, what skills does a master have? Or, to start more modestly, a co-worker or a disciple, and which of them are you still lacking? Your education must have a goal. Imagine an ideal co-worker, disciple, king of the spirit, healer, spiritual warrior, teacher, Agni Yoga master, and shape yourself according to this picture.